The South Carolina Congresswoman who once called herself Trump in high heels is facing a primary fight today after the president snubbed her in order to endorse her opponent. Nancy Mace has been in a bruising race to become the next governor of South Carolina, and she's publicly stated she believes there's only one reason she didn't get Trump's backing: her push to get the Epstein files released. And she says she's okay with that. MS Now's Will McDuffie is reporting from Easley, South Carolina. Also joining us is former Republican governor of Ohio, John Kasich, host of The John Kasich Show on SiriusXM, and an MS Now political analyst. Will, what are voters telling you about the race there for governor?
Well, Ariel, that Trump endorsement that did not go to Nancy Mace went instead to Pamela Evitt, the lieutenant governor here. But honestly, I've been talking to voters all day here at this polling site, and I haven't gotten a single indication that Evitt is running away with this thing. In fact, I've heard voters tell me that they're supporting a slew of different candidates in this race, from Attorney General Alan Wilson to Representative Ralph Norman to Mace herself. So this will be a real test, again, of a Trump endorsement in a Republican primary. Every Republican we spoke to today says they love Trump, but they're not necessarily, all of them, on board with his endorsed candidate. Take a listen. Did the Trump endorsement matter to you?
No.
Nancy Mace is kind of a national figure. What did you think about her?
I didn't like some of the things she puts on Facebook, some of the negative things she said.
You've got Pamela Evitt, the Trump endorsed candidate, Alan Wilson.
Pamela Evitt. Yeah.
Because she was endorsed by Trump?
Yes.
That goes a long way, right?
Yes. Yes.
I voted for Ralph Norman.
So the Trump endorsement alone is not enough for you to get on board?
No, I don't think so.
Now, if one of these candidates reaches 50% tonight, this thing is over. But more than likely, Ariel, we're headed to a runoff in a couple weeks because this race is just so jam-packed with a bunch of different contenders. Voters here will be back in this voting location in 2 weeks' time. Ariel.
Get comfortable there, Will. Thank you so much for your reporting. Governor Mace is one of the few Republicans who defected on the Epstein files. She's still standing at this point. We saw what happened to Thomas Massie. We saw what happened when the president turned on Marjorie Taylor Greene. Nancy Mace still refers to herself as a MAGA candidate here, but if she loses, what message does that send?
Well, I mean, the Trump endorsement does definitely matters. But, what's interesting, Ariel, and this is kind of hard to believe, but lieutenant governors don't get very big name ID. I know that's kind of, but, it's like you got the governor and then you have like the lieutenant governor who's way down. Nobody really has that name ID, and that matters a great deal. Now, Trump endorsed her, the lieutenant governor, because he was angry at Mace because she dared go after him on the Epstein files. What's amazing about this race, Ariel, is that Nancy Mace is running commercials of Trump endorsing her in her last congressional race. And then you have the lieutenant governor running Trump's endorsement. So I'll bet people down there are scratching their heads and they're saying, well, which one does Trump like? But it was interesting listening to those folks. I mean, you can't, just a couple of interviews, you don't know, but it seemed as though Trump's influence mattered a little bit less. But Mace is definitely she's a fighter and she is well known, and it's an interesting situation. Different, so much different than Massie. Massie was in hand-to-hand combat with Trump. You don't hear too much about this. So I think Mace has a shot at winning.
It's interesting that both those candidates are claiming Trump's endorsement, although Mace's seems to have been from a bygone moment. Governor, I want to ask you about the Texas Senate race. It's getting a lot of attention. Ken Paxton's former impeachment lawyer, who worked for him for nearly a decade, including defending him against criminal charges, he's now endorsing the Democrat, James Tallarico. Here's what he told MS Now earlier today.
I have seen James Tallarico. I have heard him speak. I have met him, and I believe he's focusing on the things that Texans are concerned about. We are number one in school shootings. We are number one in uninsured motorists. We are at the very bottom in education. We are at the very bottom in healthcare. And I haven't seen Ken Paxton mention any of those things in his run-up in this election. I believe James is focusing on those things, and I think those things are important to Texans. Yeah, I'm not voting against Ken. I'm voting for James.
How big of a blow could that be for Paxton? Do you think voters are paying attention? I see you shaking your head.
Totally insignificant. I mean, they don't know who anybody's lawyer is, you know. They're really more focused down there on it's a cultural thing, Ariel. I know everybody keeps talking about the fact that are the Democrats going to win this? Look, this guy, Tallarico, is a very good candidate. Let's just, and it's amazing what he's been able to do to go from the Texas House to being in this position and getting a national recognition. What he faces, though, is a cultural issue. Texans still are conservative. And remember, we live in a world now where we look at the other party as being, you know, like if they win, our lives are over and vice versa, which is just crazy. But that's kind of where we live right now. And so would I be stunned if Tallarico won? The answer would be no. Do I think he will win? The answer is I do not think so. And he's running against a perfect foil, right? I mean, this guy is the opposite of Tallarico. But again, Texans are conservative, and they are conservatives almost always are Republican. And that's what we look at. But in terms of his lawyer, Paxton's lawyer saying, I don't dislike the guy, I'm just not going to vote for him. Nobody cares about that.
Tallarico had to fend off accusations of being a vegetarian or a vegan. That just shows you, God and gas. That just shows you, you know, where politics are. Former Governor John Kasich, thank you as always.
I'll see you. Goodbye.
See you later.